Hey, what's up everyone? Hope you're all having a wonderful time. Today we're taking a look on the life stacking Bloodmage for PvE2 for the Abyssal League, and what a great build it really is. If you're looking for something that can do really use maps without having to pay too much attention while playing, this is absolutely going to be the build for you. Now, I'm just at the lower tier of what this build can really do. I'm currently at 92 with 7.6k life. We have 15k life regen and also around 500,000 DPS while standing in the hideout. And you can get this build a lot more powerful than there already is at this stage. But let me show you how you can get yourself started with pretty much the minimum investment. So the basic of the build is that you stack as much life as you possibly can, and that's going to not only scale your survivability but gives you a ton of damage as well. And it's also quite nice to see a life-based build in the game that are dominated by energy shields, and even though you are going to be kind of restricted to play on the Bloodmage Acendancy, you can still do quite a bit of combinations regarding the choice of skills that you want to use. To get this build going, you basically need to get 3 different items, and the first one is going to be Rat Pith Globe, and this is a unique from PvE1, and what it does is it provides both increase to critical strike chance and also to your increase to damage per your maximum life to non-channeling spells, and also making the spells cost a % of our maximum life as well, and that usually is a downside, but for this build it is absolutely going to be a plus for us. If you take a look on the second item that you want to get is going to be the new Atelius Bloodletting, and it makes you mana cost convert to life, and then also providing us with 2% of damage as extra physical damage per 10 life cost, and this is absolutely insane, providing so much flat damage to the build. I'm currently at around 3k life cost per cost here with my spark, and that's going to be over 600% extra physical damage that we get from one support, which is just crazy. And then for the final item, it's a Undying Hate from Abyss, and you want to get one with Tribute of Tech Rod, and that is so we get access to Sacrifice of Blood. So this is going to change a keystone on your passive tree inside of the radius to Sacrifice Blood, which makes it so you get 1 life regen per 8 life spent in the past 8 seconds. It also makes it so our skills cost 50% more life, which is just a damage boost for us. The strong thing here is that the regen that we get from this is actually stacking, which is kind of OP, I feel, and I'm not really sure if it was intended to do so, but it does at least, and that's what's going to keep you alive basically, as long as you are keep using your skills. And it can be a bit awkward at the start of a pinnacle boss fight, for example, or just at the start of a new map when you don't have all of that health regen up. But luckily for us, it's possible to pre-cast our spells to get that going, and it just makes a couple of seconds to keep sustaining that high life cost of the spells, but it is doable at least. Now, I'm heavily invested right now in reduced movement speed penalty, and I'm currently at 86% reduced right now, and it makes it so I can just keep casting Spark without losing too much mobility when doing my maps here, mostly from the passive tree, but we also get some from items as well, which we're going to take a look on soon. But overall, those 3 items that I just recently mentioned is what I recommend you to get before trying out this build. I started out without the Undying Hate, and even though it did work, it just felt really bad without the health regen that you get from it. I basically invested quite a bit in Leech instead. That made it work, but yeah, it really felt bad. And at the time of recording, the cost of these 3 items is around 8 divines for the shield, another 8 divines for Undying Hate, and then 3 divines for the Bloodletting support. So not too bad at all if you do consider how much it do cost to really start to mid-max this build. Now for the rest of the gear, we're still using some other uniques right now, but you can start to play without them, and also the rest of the gear that I'm using here is self-made with just basically craft essence and with Abyss, and that's without any of the expensive omens as well. So let's go over some of the items that we are using, starting with some of the other uniques that I mentioned. And the first one is going to be Comb's Heart. This is a really nice unique to use for this build. It provides you 1.5k maximum life, but with the downside that you now have no spirit. Now the flat life there is obviously insane, and it is really what scales this whole build. But as mentioned, you can play around with something else. When doing the Bloodmage, you get access to Crimson Power. And this gives you additional maximum life equal to 100% of the item energy shield that you have on the body armor. And you could like respect from these, I would say. And yeah, you can go here and you can get like a body armor with around 1k energy shield pretty easy, or right under at least. So you still get something like 1k maximum life from that. So it is absolutely possible to start out without this one. Now I was unlucky and lucky, I would say. I corrupted this one and I managed to get a additional socket, which is awesome. But you can also get a corruption that boosts that maximum life to like 1.8k instead, which is going to be what you want to aim for. But I just put in some reduction to effects of curses on you, so this basically makes me immune to curses, and it's really nice to have for like being immune to temporal chain, right? That will slow you, and feeble, make you deal less damage, stuff like that when doing maps. So I just went with this for now. Ideal, you want to go for the percent life as much as you can, but those are quite expensive right now, around 2 divine each. So I'm just gonna chill with that for a moment, and I just going with this for now, as I'm just basically running around spamming maps right now. Next item is going to be Veil of the Night. Now, this is a really awesome helm. It provides increase to maximum life, so quite a bit there. Usually you get 50. I managed to land my corruption here, so I get some additional there, up to 59%. And yeah, the downside with this helmet is that you don't have any elemental resist. So that means that you are going to be at 0 on cold, fire and lightning. But the great thing is that we do have quite a bit of life, right, and also the regen to make up for that, right? And if you don't have this one, you can get one with just as much health as you can. And also now you can also start to scale your defense with elemental resist, right? So that's another thing. Again, you don't need this, but it is a great addition to the build to really scale your maximum life. Now for the last unique that we are using, that's going to be a Darkness Enthroned, and this belt is also from PvP1, and you get increased effect of socketed items into this belt, and it do have 2 sockets on it. Now it can be a little bit different here, but this one do provide bonuses from socketed items, as it was from boots, and this makes us so we can put runes that normally would put in boots, right? And for this I went with Feral's Rune of Grace, and these provide 6% reduced movement speed penalty from using skills while moving, and we do get 90% increased effect for those. So 2 of them adding up to 22% reduced movement speed penalty, which is really nice addition, right? Just makes us move faster. And I also managed to get one with plus to maximum life as a corruption. Now you could get increased effect of socketed items over 100 though. Those are quite expensive, and it's also something that you can put in those life runes as well. Those percent of lives. I will just show you here so you know what I'm talking about. So you have, let's see, life, and it's going to be these ones. So Soul Core of Yikrin, those are the ones I was talking about, but they are quite expensive, and but these are really nice to use. You can use these on the belt as well. However, then you need to change the boots, right, to body armor instead. Gain bonuses from socket items was from boots to body armor, so do keep that in mind. But that's also something you can play around with. So 2 of those is 6% times 2, so 12%, and can get increased even more, right, with the right corruption, stuff like that. But yeah, for now I'm using these to just move around more easily while doing maps. Now, if you don't want to use this one, you can just use the normal rare one, get as much maximum life as you can, strength, chaos resist works, right. Then you also have a new abyss mod that you can get there, increase life regen during effect of any life loss. This is quite nice to have, as we do our life flask is basically up all of the time, so that mod there is really nice to just boost survivability to the build. But this is something that you can use, and I usually use this for pinnacle bosses, stuff like that. For the rest of your item, it's going to be basically the same stat that you want to aim for. You want as much maximum life as you can. You want as much strength as you can, because strength gives you even more maximum life. And then, if you can, chaos resist is also really nice. That's the only resist that you can benefit from, right? Now, on the gloves here, for example, I also managed to get leech. Now, you can get leech from other sources, but I do recommend to get one source of it. And I think the cheapest way is going to be on the gloves. Now, any source of leech is nice, as I mentioned. It really helps you out when starting out, like maps, stuff like that, bosses, if you haven't your region upright. And it's just another way of sustaining your life, basically. If you take a look on the boots, same goes here, maximum life, strength, rarity is also nice if you want to go that route, right? And move speed is a must, obviously. And here I managed to get a boot with 2 sockets, and I put the boot runes here, as I mentioned in the belt. Fal's Rune of Grace, so these do provide 12% for those 2, which is also really nice. Now, for your rings here, on top of getting maximum life, strength, and also chaos resist, as we went over all the other items, here you also want to go for cast speed. Now, cast speed is really nice. It do provide extra damage to the build, right? Spamming out more spells, but also providing additional health regen, right? So it's also providing extra survivability for us. For the amulet here, you can actually get increased to maximum life. You also want to get maximum life, the flat one. You also can get levels of all spell skills, attributes. I got the recovery 2% of maximum life on kill. That doesn't really help that much for the build. You could go for crit damage. You can also get even more cast speed here, which I would probably prefer to have if I had the chance. And for the Anoint, I went with this one. So this basically gives you increased maximum life, increased maximum mana, and also increased movement speed. 5% for each there. It gives you the life if you have at least 10 red, mana if you have at least 10 blue, and also movement speed if you have at least 10 green. And for your weapon, here you want to go for a wand. I went with the galvanic wand, and that provides a galvanic field. And you can use that one to boost your single target a little bit against bosses, for example. But I felt that was the best base for this build. Now, here you also want to go for as much increased spell damage as you can. And that's to scale all that flat that we get from our support. Here you also want to get +2 levels of all lightning spell skills or other elemental skills. If you are using another elemental spell, right? If you're going with fire, go with that. If you're going for cold, go with that, right? Makes sense. But you also want to go for cast speed, which is going to be the 3 important nodes for this wand. Now, I was trying to get a mod, Abyss mod, that makes it so you get increased spell damage if they cost life, that you can get from the Abyss there. I haven't been successful yet, I'm still working on it, but that's something that's really nice to get here. Other than that, try to go for crit damage if you can, or also gain a % of extra damage of elemental damage. You also have a extra physical damage as a Abyss mod as well, which is probably what you want to go for if you don't get increased spell damage. So that's pretty much it for the items that we are using. I'm also using a charm for freeze immunity, another one for slow immunity, and then lastly I'm using one for some increased rarity when killing a rare or unique enemy. For your flasks, Blood of the Warrior it's a really nice flask for this build. It basically makes it so you get 30% of damage taken during effect recoup as life, and even though recoup is not the best in PvE2, it is very nice for this build because we are heavily invested in life regen rights, and it do help out to mitigate some damage from that. And the nice thing here is that we do have basically 100% uptime on our flask, and that's going to be from our Acendancy. We are spec'd into Sanguine Tide. We do get 1 life flask charge per 4% life spent, and we do spend our life all of the time, so those life flasks will get up in an instant. And then on hitting a enemy while a life flask is at full charges, 40% of its charges are consumed, so this will automatically use our flask, and we also gain 1% of damage as physical damage for 3 seconds per charge consumed also, which do provide extra damage. But that's basically how that works, and it will just automate the flask for us. And for the mana flask, nothing crazy here. I just saw that I don't even have a prefix for it, and it's basically useless. Now, if we continue to take a look on our Acendancy, I just went over Sanguine Tide here. This is probably what you want to go for last. But first of all, you have Sundering the Flesh. And this boosts the base crit chance for spells to 15%, which is a huge damage increase. And let me just see here where we're at. So at the moment we are at 73% with quite a bit of damage multipliers, can see here, and this will just get increased as you get more life right from our Wrathblitz Globe. So that's how that works, and it's a huge addition for the build, right? The next one is going to be Vitality Siphon. You get 10% of spell damage leash as life. Super awesome for survivability, and you can really play around with this a lot. The next step here for me, I was doing this before I went full life regen, but you can go for fast metabolism here, and it makes it so life leech effect are not removed when unreserved life is filled. So when you get full, it will still leech, right, which is a super strong addition, and with us dealing so much damage, it's really great for this build. But I haven't thought of fitting it into the build right now, but it is doable though, but kinda expensive. The next one is going to be Grasping Wound, and this is a really strong thing. It's basically same as the flask here with the life recoup, but a stronger version of it. So 25% of life lost from hits is prevented, and then that much life is lost over 4 seconds instead. So it's basically double dip on the damage recoup from the flask, which is just a additional survivability for the build. And let's just also go over Acendancy. This provides you with the skill Life Remnants. So this is something all blood mages get, and it basically gives you a life remnant when you kill a enemy. And also your skills, a percent of them will cost life instead of mana. But the life remnants are basically life globes, and each of those remnants grant you life, and these lives can actually stack above your maximum life, which is awesome because it can provide some extra damage from time to time, but it too basically works as a extra heal. Think of them as extra health globes. Now let's take a look on the passive skill tree. And this skill tree is basically all around here. We are pathing the wheel, the outside of the wheel, all the way around. But yeah, you basically want to go for just as much strength as you can for attributes. You do need some intelligence, right, to fit in your spells. And you also want to get some dexterity, so you can use this one for the movement speed as well. You do need 10 green, so that's going to be 50 dexterity to fit in 10 of those support gems. But other than that, just go for strength, that's basically it. And yeah, we are pathing a little bit all over the place here. Mainly what you want to go for is going to be a spell critical damage bonus, or critical damage bonus, right? Spell or just normal crit damage bonus is what you want to go for. Also, if you can, cast speed is really nice, right, for the build. We are going up here for more cast speed. These ones are also nice. It provides you extra spell damage, but also will increase the life cost of skills, and this provides you increased life regen rate as well, which is nice. Over here we have more spell crit damage, a extra socket over here. We are using one control metamorphosis, and that's going to be with the medium ring, and this makes it so we can pick up some notables without being connected. One being this one here, you get some life regen, but also make it so Arcane Surge grant more life regen, so it's a more multiplier from that, which is awesome. I do think it's 20 by default, and you also get some increased effect for that here, 40% increased effect of Arcane Surge, and also this small node here make it so you have a small 5% chance to gain Arcane Surge when you deal a critical hit, and we do basically deal crits all of the time, or most of the time at least. So that's really, really good. We are picking up these nodes here. This will increase the duration of Spark for us. Then over here is where I put my Undying Hate, and that's going to be so we can pick up Sacrifice of Blood here. We are going down here, more crit damage right here. You have some life regen and percent life, more crit damage. You have movement speed penalty. The first one is going to be here. You have another one down here, and crit damage. Then down here is also more movement speed penalty. You can choose to do less of this if you want to, and just invest more into damage if you like. But I do really like to have this one. It basically gives us back all of our mobility without any penalty, really. You get some skill speed here with movement speed. Skill speed will provide cast speed for us. Then we are pathing into here, just more movement speed. But then we also have the spring hair, which is pretty damn nice. So 20% chance for damage with hits to be lucky. And lucky is something that's really, really strong. Lucky things are rolled twice, and the better results are used. So if you do have a lower value and a higher value, so for us, for example, here, let's check our physical damage. For example, we have 3k to 70k, which is crazy. So this will basically roll the dice, and it will pick the higher number of these two, and yeah, super strong, and hopefully pick the higher number, right? Now, something that's really, really awesome is going to get some source of Pierce also. This is also something that you can get from other sources. I went with the Megalomaniac Diamond Jewel here, and it's basically allocate different points in the tree here. And you do have piercing shot here, for example. So this is 50% chance to pierce an enemy, which is super strong for Spark. All those projectiles going all around crazy, and it helps out with clear by a big shot. As I said, you can get other sources like that. You can just put this as a Anoint if you want to. Then you get this one removed, but that's like the easiest way, right? Put this as an Anoint for really, really cheap. And there are other sources like it. Other than that, for just your normal units that you have here, I just went with increased spell damage and increased critical spell damage. If you are rich or lucky, you can actually get a double crit damage. You'll on here you can get the increased critical spell damage as I have here, but you can also get just increased critical damage. So you can have a double on these, but they are quite expensive. Now let's take a look on our skills here. I do recommend to go and check out the POB instead for the skill links. It's just easier to follow, but I go over them here if you don't want to check that out. But first, with Life Remnants, here you want to put the Remnant Potency 3, Harmonic Remnants 2, and then we have Galvanic Field that we get from our wand as an extra damage source for single target, Prolonged Duration with Ambrosia, and also Conk Area, and also Rapid Casting 2. We have City of Power. This is something that I forgot to mention earlier. You get this from having a Shimmering Staff. It's nothing crazy that you want to like focus that much to. If you can get to +2 skills, that's awesome, and also increase to cast speed. And those are basically the two mods that you want for this staff. It just works as a single target boost for bossing, and this provides a 50% damage multiplier to spell damage when you are standing inside the circle of the sigil. For our main ability, we are using Spark, and here we are using Heft. It gives you 30% more maximum physical hit damage. As we're mostly dealing physical damage, it's a great damage multiplier for the spell. More damage with that. Projectile acceleration, then also with Zenith, more damage when we are above 90% of maximum mana. Considering casting, we get less cast speed, but also dealing more damage. And then Athelian Bloodletting, which went over before, our main source of damage. Let's just show here, 70k without it, over 500k with it. Pretty damn insane. Orber Storm is another source that we can use for boosting single target for bossing. And you want to use that with Lightning Mastery, Overabundance 2, Prolonged Duration 2, with Consecrating Casting, and also Rapid Casting. And then we have Frostbomb. This is mainly used for bosses. It do provide elemental exposure, so we deal more damage for it. You want to use with Overabundance 2. I have this with Second Wind, Short Fuse, and then also with Efficiency, so it costs less. And lastly, we have Elemental Weakness. Even though we do deal mostly fist damage, it do add up a little bit. You can use another curse if you like to. Enfeeble is nice, just makes it so they deal less damage, for example. But I went with Elemental Weakness, Focus Curse, Hasten Curse with Prolonged Duration, and Efficiency here as well, so it costs less. And then lastly, just random skills, and this is so we can have our 10 Dexterity nodes and also 10 Strength for the extra health and also movement speed that we get from this one. Now, before we wrap up this video, let's go over some of the upgrades that you can search for to really boost this build. The first one is going to be to get yourself 3 Grand Spectrums, and that's going to be the Ruby one. And these do provide 2% increase to maximum life per socketed of Grand Spectrum. And as mentioned, you can have 3 of these, and you do want to have 3 of these because these all multiply with each other. So it's basically going to be 6% increased maximum life times 3. So that's going to be 18% to increase through maximum life for these 3 Grand Spectrums. For the next upgrades, you can get yourself some new boots and also gloves with the Essence of Horror on it. That will make it so you get 100% increased effect of socketed items, which is really strong, as you can have 3 sockets total on both boots and your gloves. For boots, for example, here you can get just extra flat life, or you can go for reduced movement speed penalty, as I probably would do. Or you can also go for increased movement speed, right? Those are really strong but expensive. And for the gloves, something like this, you can go for increased cast speed. You can get the increased effect of Arcane Surge is also really nice, as we do convert that to health regen, right? And that's going to be a multiplier for us, which is nice. And other than that, you could also go for just maximum life here as well. But it's a huge increase, right? And it's going to be something to really aim for your endgame build. And those items are probably going to be the biggest upgrades you can go for. You can also go for stuff like Defiance of Destinies, just works as an additional layer of defense with the recovery there. And it also provides the increased maximum life as well, which is nice for us. And other than that, Headhunter is another way to go, right? It works great if you are playing like I'm doing right now, just used up maps, and it will buff you like crazy. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. And if you have any other questions, feel free to drop a comment and I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!